and welcome to this podcast for the University of Alabama at Birmingham Research Center of Excellence in Arsenicals. My name is Mina Nabavi, and I am a program manager in the UAB School of Public Health. Today we are joined again by Dr. Ziad Kazzi, Associate Professor of Emergency Medicine and Medical Toxicology at Emory University. Dr. Kazzi is here to talk with me about the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, also known as Barda. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So Barda is a relatively new office. It was established in 2006. Can you tell us about the history of Barda and why it was created?
Well, actually, Barda was created after the anthrax attacks in 2001. Now, at that time, it had a different name and structure. So currently, Barda is part of the Department of Health and Human Services, Office of the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response, also referred to as the ASPR. The mission of Barda is to aid in securing our nation from chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats, as well as from pandemic influenza, emerging infectious diseases, and also antimicrobial resistance. For a recent example, where Barda played an important role in the advanced development of countermeasures, think about the recent Zika epidemic and the Ebola virus disease epidemic. Barda, in those two situations, played a major role in getting some of these countermeasures through advanced development and to become available for use.
So what are the major initiatives that Barda is responsible for?
Well, Barda is responsible for quite a large number of initiatives. As a matter of fact, to date, they have supported 42 approvals by the Food and Drug Administration in the U.S. for products addressing these CBRN, or chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats, pandemic influenza, and emerging infectious diseases. And when you think of Barda, I feel it's useful to think about different areas of activities. The primary area of activity, in my thought, is to support the advanced research and development of medical countermeasures. Specifically, Barda supports a critical transition of these medical countermeasures that start off with as an idea, for example, by an investigator or a pharmaceutical company. From this research stage through the advanced development, up till the application for approval by the FDA. And they kind of partner and collaborate with these investigators, academic institutions, companies to advance their research development, help them with the regulatory process, up to the point where they actually apply for the approval by the FDA. And again, they do this by being very nimble, by having different mechanisms to partner with these entities, these public, private entities, academic entities. And it's great that they have the ability to do that, because these type of environments require a lot of flexibility and one-on-one collaboration, where they actually are almost hand in hand with these developers in getting that countermeasures ready for the FDA to review and hopefully approve. Now, that's a major piece of what they do. They also play a role in maintaining our stockpiles. So, the Project BioShield, the Strategic National Stockpile, the Pandemic Influenza Emergency Supplemental Fund, all of these are examples where Barda can assist us in procuring some of these countermeasures that are in these stockpiles. Barda also has developed an ability to manufacture certain countermeasures. They have a few physical sites to manufacture specific countermeasures that they deem necessary, especially when there is a large need and limited supply. So they can augment the supply to their own manufacturing sites, which is, I think, a pretty neat thing.
Yes, it is. So you mentioned countermeasures. What are medical countermeasures, and can you provide a few examples?
That's a great question. I'm sorry, I've been throwing this word around for the last few minutes. Well, medical countermeasures are life-saving medicine and medical supplies that are regulated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Now, these medicines and medical supplies can be used to diagnose, prevent, they can be used to protect from or treat conditions associated with the CBRN threats, emerging infectious diseases, or natural disasters. In a more simple explanation is medical countermeasures are vaccines, pharmaceuticals, antidotes, even devices like specific personal protective equipment or decontamination solutions that can be used, and also diagnostics. So specific tests that can be used to assist in the management of these injuries from these agents.
So do any of these medical countermeasures address exposure to chemical agents?
Yes, there is certainly a large number. There are certainly millions of chemicals out there, and certainly we do not have a countermeasure for every single one of them. But Barda is looking at ways to manufacture or to develop countermeasures that can meet the needs from a class of chemical agents or from different classes of chemical agents. These are innovative ways that they are pursuing. But yes, there are several examples. If you want specific ones, I could think of a novel antidote for the seizures that can occur from nerve agents. Those are usually treated with benzodiazepines, for example. Some of these patients have refractory seizures that are not improving with these classical benzodiazepines. So there's been a new drug called Cisalam, which is a novel drug that is supposed to be used for these refractory nerve agent seizures. Another example in the area of burn care is Silverlawn. This is an antimicrobial wound dressing that has a very large amount of silver, and you can use that in burn wounds from blast and thermal injuries. And they are looking at additional applications of this drug or this device in other types of burns from other agents, like chemical agents.
Right. So how does Barda support the development of chemical medical countermeasures like the ones you just mentioned? What are some of the priorities for the future?
Well, I mean, Barda, like I said earlier, it really works hand in hand with these partners and industries. So Barda will provide the guidance to industry, academia, and pharmaceutical companies. They will communicate what are the types of MCMs or medical countermeasures that they believe are necessary, considering the current hazard profile, the current threats to our nation's security and safety. So this is really done in a deliberate, thoughtful way with this close partnership and collaboration. Now, of course, Barda at that point will have the financial resources to support these partners in the advanced development of these countermeasures. So a company or an investigator has an idea for an antidote. This idea may be still early on in the development, maybe just a chalkboard idea. And then Barda will recognize the potential value and potential benefit from this antidote. They will add to that their knowledge of what is needed this year or next year, considering all information they have from the federal government. And then they will actually partner with that scientist, help that scientist step by step through the experimental development in the advanced area of research to the regulatory process, so that this idea on a chalkboard becomes a drug that is FDA approved for one or more indications, hopefully, that are relevant to the mission of Barda and areas of interest.
So they are with them the entire way.
They are, and this is unique for Barda, I think. And actually, right now, we are expecting an announcement from Barda for their priorities. I think this is going to be announced in a broad agency announcement, I believe, in the summer, so a few months from here. And the current priorities, which were shared with us today by Dr. Michael Schwartz at the Grand Rounds seminar that we attended, are sulfur mustard, chlorine, opioids, nerve agents, specifically antimuscarinics and anti-seizures, cyanide, and my favorite, novel delivery methods. So any idea regarding novel ways to deliver an antidote. So we all think about the auto-injector, which is an intramuscular administration, right. But think outside the box a little bit. Think about dressings, patches. Think about sublingual administration of a medication. Imagine how much easier it would be to have these novel delivery methods in a mass casualty situation, as opposed to having to start an intravenous line, infuse the medication, IV. I think these are all important resources for us in emergency response.
Because time is of the essence in these situations.
Time is of the essence, and our human resources. Who is going to administer these medications?
Right.
when you're looking at thousands of potential victims, you need to think about your workforce as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here. It was great learning more about Barda and its work in advancing the development of chemical medical countermeasures. And thank you for listening. Please tune in next time for another podcast from the UAB Research Center of Excellence in Arsenicals.